Boom, boom. This is Ken, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little Mobile Legends adventure up today. Now, this is a game that I play all the time. I don't really do videos on it, only when there's something really, really big happening. And there is something really, really big happening. So we've got Achlys up. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's levels of characters inside of MLA. We've got the standard elemental characters, you know, your tech characters, your martial characters, your light, your dark, and your elemental. Achlys is the original Achlys is part of the dark. When you first start playing MLA, you know, there's always like you always want to get. Everybody says get Lennox, because Lennox is she's from the Order and Chaos. She's an Order. The two most powerful factions are Order and Chaos. I actually think Chaos is a tad bit more powerful at this point, but there's really, you know, not I wouldn't say enough of a difference to make a difference. So what they've done is they came out with new characters that were between the elemental character, you know, the basic martial, light, dark, and the Order and the Chaos. They had characters that sort of like fell in between, and those were called characters that were dual elemental. Okay, so they actually have those characters. I'll show you those here inside of the actual what this is called. This is New Era. If you take a look at your actual heroes. Okay, you've got the elemental, you've got your tech, martial, light, and then you've got your dark. Okay, those are the basic, what I like to call the standard 5 elementals, and then you've got the Order and Chaos, which are just a little bit more powerful. Well, I would say, needless to say, a fully maxed out Order or Chaos character does quite a bit more damage and quite a bit more protection, quite a bit more healing, whatever it is that they're associated with, than the standard 5 elementals. And then, as I said, they came out with a new group, and these group are dual elementals. What that means is they're members of two groups. Okay, so like we've got Lila here. She's a member of the tech. Okay, and light. If you watch the medallion right here, it changes. You got some other ones here. We've got Clara. Clara is the actual. She's the actual Taver girl. They made her into a character. But as you can see, she's dark and martial. And then you've got this right here is she's elemental and martial, I believe. Yeah. And then she's tech and element. So they're basically two factions. Okay, and it requires 2 cards to complete them. If you look in the bag, you'll see that I have cards for them. Like right here's cards for them. It takes 2 of these cards to make one of the characters so that you can actually upgrade them. Okay, so they're right in between because they're dual elemental, dual faction. They're a little bit more powerful than the regular faction characters, but they're not quite up there with the Order and Chaos characters. Okay, so that's the current state of what we're talking about in terms of characters. Well, that got turned on its head with the introduction of Achlys. Now, as I've said before, Achlys at the beginning, mid-level, and beginning of the game, Achlys is one of the best characters that you can get. She does a ton of damage. Okay, so she's really good character. I've got her fully maxed out. She's one of the first characters that I maxed out, simply because of the fact that she does do a lot of damage. Okay, but she's just a dark character, and she's also pretty much the main protagonist. She's the bad guy or the bad girl, so to speak, of the game. So she's always been considered, you know, fairly powerful, and you definitely a character that you want to build. But as you get to the late game, she really tapers off. Okay, she's just not, she can't compete with the order and chaos characters, and that's always put her at a slight disadvantage at in game. Well, that's all changed now. The new Achlys, Achlys, is finally here, and she is a member of what has turned the game on its head. She's dark, but she's also chaos. This is the first dual faction character that's crossed over into the Order and Chaos factions. All the ones previously have been two elemental, martial, light, dark factions. They've only been in text. They've only been between those. This is the first character that is considered. If you look at her, she's considered UR. Okay. These are SSRs. These are order characters. Okay. Order and Chaos are considered SSR, as are the characters in here. Even though the Order and Chaos are slightly more powerful, they're still SSRs. Well, Achlys is the first UR character in the game. Okay, so that's the reason I'm doing this actual, video, because this is groundbreaking, earth-shattering in terms of the game. Introducing UR characters in the game. I mean, this game's been going on for a long time, and this is go. But anyway, now Achlys is back, being the most powerful character in the game. She melts. I'm serious. When she opens up her skills on you, there isn't anything that you can do. It's just ridiculously powerful. Especially the lifesteal, damage reduction, summons an abyssal messenger. Okay, so she's got a summon. And then you've got the damage increased attacks, and then you've got her power skill. This is what makes her so damaging, the fact that her first skill is literally an AoE. Literally, the entire screen is encompassed with this huge circle, and it just eats away. Okay, it deals 110 of her attack to all enemies, and then it heals all allies. Okay, so it's a complete game breaker here. So, and the really thing I think about it is you can get her. I've got her. I'm a free to play player. I've got her. Not just once, I got her 3 times. So I've been able to awaken her twice. Okay, you get the first, and then I had to get 2 more cards of her to get her up to the next level, which I did. And the reason I was able to do that is because they're having in this event, they're having a special event called the Prologue to Eternity, and inside of here you can trade in this case, some of your gems, and you can also trade in sacred scrolls. If you get 10 of them, you can trade them in for 10. These are special summons. These are the summons that are required to pull on UR Achlys. You have to have these. These don't work. None of this works, okay? Now, if you go into the summon, the Wishing Shrine, she's right here at the top, and it requires these, okay? You can't use diamonds. You can't use gems or anything like that. You have to use these summons, and they're allowing you to get a large bulk of these summons throughout the game, so you'll be able to get her. Now, it's a little bit interesting in terms of what's going to happen, okay? So let me point out something to you here. We've got a summon called a prophecy summon. A prophecy summon allows you to get a guaranteed character. Like if I was to pull on this right now, within 3 pulls, I would be guaranteed to get a copy of Mecha Layla. Okay. Now, this is the thing about this. Only the 5 elemental characters are allowed in here. Tech, martial, light, dark. Okay, and the element. Those are the only ones that are allowed in here. Okay. You are Order and Chaos characters are not allowed in this. If you take a look at, you can see all these ones in here, but there's no Order and there's no Chaos character in here. So the first question it begs to answer is, well, if there's no Order and Chaos character that's in here, are they going to put UR Achlys in here? Because UR Achlys, yes, she's Chaos, but she's also dark. So theoretically, she could go in here. Okay, but I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. And then vice versa. There is the Sacred Oath Summon. This is only for Order and Chaos characters. None of these, you don't want to waste the Sacred Summon charge. You want to get Order and Chaos. That's where you can get your Order and Chaos characters. So is she going to be in here? Okay. And just in here, or is she going to be in both? I mean, if she's in both Sacred Summons and Prophecy Summons, you'll be able to max her out fairly quick, which leads me to believe that she will probably not be in the Prophecy Summon, but she will most likely end up in the Sacred Oath Summon. Okay, so that's probably worse. Even though she is technically dark, I don't think they're going to put her in the Prophecy Summon, so that you guaranteed pull for her within 3 pulls. I doubt very seriously if they would do that, but we'll have to see. Miracle Summons is the same way. I'm holding on to these because what happens if they do put her, she's a dark character, so maybe she'll be put in, might be able to get her from here too, so I don't know. So I'm holding off on these, using these Miracle Summons until we see exactly if she gets put in there or not. So yeah, so they've completely, turned it all up on its side down. We've got UR characters for the first time in the game, and so they're going to be a little bit more powerful. That will be the power. So I assume they will, of course, start expanding these. Achlys was a no-brainer for the first one. Like I say, when they first came out with the game, she was the most powerful character to get. She was, early in the game she melted. Early, mid game, she was a beast. And then as you get late game, towards the end of late game, she starts to taper off, and she just can't quite compete. She still does damage, and you could still use her in her team, but Order and Chaos characters maxed out are a little bit more powerful. So that's where we're at in terms of the gameplay. And now they've gone and upended it and put her back on top, and they get making her a Chaos and a Dark. Has a little bit of a what are you going to do type air about the game right now. So hopefully we're going to find out. So these pulls will be open. You definitely want to, if you play the game, you want to get back into it. You definitely want to be getting as many of the actual summons as you can. Like I say, it's in the events, and it's called Prologue to Eternity. And this is, you'll be able to get the shards here. These scrolls here. As you can see, I've already purchased all the ones that I could with this, and I've started to dent this, and I've purchased some of these too. There was originally 10 in each of these. So I've been focusing on it pretty heavy. Now, also what you want to do is you want to, inside of the actual event, which is in the suburbs, and it's called Tinted Mirage. This is the event that's introducing her. I'm not going to spoil the story for her, but you want to go through this because this is her story. This will tell you why she, what she was, what she's doing, and what she's become. It'll explain the story for you. You're not going to be able to beat this if you're a lower to mid-level character. This is only for Order. This is only for Chaos and Dark characters. Okay? Which also makes this a little bit different because normally it's only been Order and Chaos characters. But now it's actually, Chaos and Dark simply because of the fact that she's a Dark. So you have a chance to make a dent into this because you can use some of your maxed out 8 characters in this right here. Okay, so this gives you a chance to do that. So you might be able to get through this a little bit farther than you normally would. Okay. So keep that in mind as you're going through. But you can purchase tickets to view the story inside the archives even if you're unable to defeat the game, so that you can at least get the story. Maybe if you don't complete, like I'm probably not going to be able to clear this yet. Yeah, not quite. I'm going to have to make some adjustments to my team to see if I get in there. And you'll go through story, and as I cleared the first chapter, chapter 1, at the end of the last line here, they gave you 10 scrolls. Once you clear this, you'll get another 10 scrolls to do the pulls. Okay, and you can just continue to pull in, and that's going to be open for 20 days. The actual Prologue to Eternity is going to be open for 20 days. So you've got a lot of time, and you're going to see probably notice that the actual summon for her will most likely be open for the same amount of time as everything else, 20 days. So you've got 20 days. You've got it's basically roughly a month is what it sets out to be. But this is not a month because this just opened up yesterday. So this is 21 days. So this is only going to be a 3-week portion of the event that you'll be allowed to participate. So you want to get all of those that you can, all of these summons so that you can pull on her. Okay, and like I say, I pulled on her roughly 70 times. I think I did 6 or 7 10 pulls. Okay, and I got her 3 times. Okay, so the first time they give you a full you are the first one that you get, a full character. But then every time after that you need 2 cards. And you combine those 2 cards to make another copy of her, which you can then use to awaken her to the next level. So it's going to take twice as long as it's a standard dual faction character build. This is what it takes for all dual factions characters. You need two of them to make 2 cards to make 1 character, so that you can then awaken them up. That's the same. It's nothing different just because she's you are. Of course, it's still going to be a little bit more difficult to get her because we're not sure if she's going to be put inside of the prophecy summons. If she is put inside of the prophecy summons, you should be able to obtain her fully maxed out probably within a couple of months, which is why I doubt very seriously if they're going to put her in there. Because she is a UR character, so they're probably going to make her a little bit more difficult to obtain. But they could stick her in there. They could stick her in both prophecy and both the sacred summons and allow everybody to just work on getting a max character for her. We'll have to see. Considering she's the new most powerful character in the game, I don't know if they're that generous. I mean, this game's pretty generous, which is why I'm still playing it and have been playing it for some time. I mean, I spent 99 cents when I first got the game, and as I've told before, I gave them 99 cents simply because I could not find an idle game that would run full screen on BlueStacks in landscape mode. They were always just one straight slot down the center, which is annoying. This game went straight to full landscape. I loved it, so I gave him 99 cents. I actually purchased a little character. It was a copy of when you first log in, there's a certain character that you can get for free for 99. Well, you get it for 99 cents. I did it. Gave him 99 cents, but it really wasn't for the character because I'm not even using that character. It was just because I was happy that they were in landscape mode and I could run it on my BlueStacks without having to worry about just having the streak down the center. So if you do want to play him, you can run it on BlueStacks and you can see it. I'm not pushing this out in landscape mode. I'm not forcing it. It just flows to landscape mode because of the way it's laid out. It's not a game that runs in portrait. So that's the reason I wanted to do this video, just to give you a heads up. If you do play the game, get back in there. Okay, you would definitely want to make sure that you get a copy of Achlys while they're being generous with her. Okay, and giving you a chance to get the shards, because normally I think it's like 5,000 gems to get your hands on some of these shards, or some of the scrummons, some of the scroll summons, and you'll be able to get, here you can get 2,500, 37. Okay, and then this here's the standard 5,000, but you can use the sacred scrolls too. These are fairly easy to obtain. I've already done this 4 times. Okay, and I will be doing it again here shortly, because you can get these in the shop in certain instances, and you can then use those. For instance, so what you want to do is you want to go into the shop and look in all the places where they have them. They have them in the not in the tail. Where is it at? It is in the Cloud Depot. Right here they are. You can get 10 of them right here. Okay. So when this rebunches, I've already got 1,000 up, so I'm going to get 10. So you can get 10 right here. Okay. You also get them inside of the campaign, inside of the actual suburbs. I'm sorry, inside of the actual Tower of Babel. Okay. In the chaos, every 10 levels that you go up, you'll get 5 of those shards. So if you look right here in the order tower right here, at 340 I got the 5, and I'll get another at 350. Okay, at 345 they give me this, which is useless to me, but it's usable. But then at 350 you get another 5. 360 you'll get another 5. You get so if you can if you can go and it does it on both the Order and the Chaos Tower. So at 330 I'll get 5 more Sacred Summons. At 350 I'll get another 5. So you can get them in here as well. But this is higher end characters because most people can't get through these because they don't have enough powerful teams, because this is for the only Order and Chaos characters. Okay, so yeah, you can't get them in there, but yeah, so there are certain places where you can get them. Also in events, usually the Realm of Legends, they'll sometimes have them in some of the chests inside of here. Okay, they've got summons and things in here, and right here. Here's another 10. So when we can complete this, which you should be able to complete this now, I'll get another 10, which I can cash those 10 in and get me 10 more pulls for Achlys. Okay, so they're making ways to get it where you don't have to spend all your diamonds, because you see I don't have many diamonds left because I use my diamonds for prophecy summons and a lot of other stuff. But yeah, so you can get them that way. So that's pretty much the only consistent way of getting them. There's events as well. Almost all of the events will have some type of summons in them. If you take a look at the Mirage Pass in here, not the Mirage Pass, the actual shop. Where's the shop? Didn't have any in the gifts and the limited time summons. Didn't have any in here either. So the shop for this is called the Realm of Samsara, and you will see 10 right here. Okay, and you'll see 10 right here. Okay, so right there is 20 more, so that's another 20 pulls for Achlys. Okay, so and you've got 20 days, so you've got more than enough time to get these. The shops where these are at, they're going to refresh. Okay, so you'll be able to get them there, and they're just look through all the shops and you'll find them in in shops. They'll be sticking around in places, and eventually you can get them. So just try to get all the sacred summon scrolls that you can, and then go in here to the prologue for eternity and exchange them in and get the 10 pulls for Achlys. Okay, like I say, I did 7 pulls for a total of 10. Yeah, I did 7 10 pulls, which is 70 pulls. I got her 3 times. Okay, so you might have better luck, you might have less luck. It's not a high drop rate, so don't expect to get 10 or 20 and then expect to get her. You might get her once, twice, but you might not. Okay, because the drop rate, the drop rates in are these games, and there's nothing changed. This is not, this is not a rate up any type of the event. 70 pulls getting 3 is roughly about what you normally obtain. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you want to get as many as you can, while you can still get those sacred summon scrolls, which is an item that you can get fairly easily if you're mid to late game, and you can cash those into. You won't be able to do this before. All of the other Order and Chaos characters that they've entered, you've never been able to use sacred summons to purchase the actual scrolls to summon on them. This is the first time they've ever had this this capability up. They've never had this before. You've always had to spend 5,000 just to get 10. Okay, that's always the way it's been, and this has been it, period. They've never had this, never had this, never had this. Okay, so that's the way it's been previously, and that's been on the the Order and Chaos characters. And this is the UR character, so it's a level above them, and they've opened the special event for you. I don't know if the next UR character that they enter is going to have this same type of setup. I don't know. I just know that they're doing it for Achlys. So, they're not very forthcoming with that information as of yet. Now, any of these scrolls that you don't use will be turned back into sacred summons at the end of the event. Okay, so prologue to Eternity Vapor, exchange sacred souls or diamonds, which can summon a new hero. When eternal summons, you can only exchange for a certain number of eternal scrolls. Okay, so this is this. Now, when these used to perform the sacred oath, okay, obtainable in events and packs, okay. Uh, so it's you know it's a really good thing. Okay, now used to perform eternal summons will be converted into the same amount of sacred scrolls after eternal oath is over. So any of these that you don't use to pull on Achlys, which you should all use them, will automatically be translated into sacred scrolls at the end of the event, so in 20 days. So don't worry about losing any of these. Okay, you'll still be, if ones you don't use, you'll get them back. Okay, so keep that in mind if you want to go ahead and pull a bunch of them just to be on the safe side. And you might not need to use that many. The ones you have left over will translate back into sacred summons, so you won't lose them. Okay, but keep in mind that it's 20 days, so it's plenty of time to actually do on the event. So yeah, get in there and knock this stuff out. And take a look at the story. Now, if at the end of the actual event, okay, when it finally ends, you go into the memory obelisk and go into Tinted Mirage stories. This will be in here. It's okay. You can get these inside of your dailies and weeklies. You'll be able to get the cinema tickets. So even if you don't complete it, which if you're a lower to mid level and even a high level character, if you don't have full teams, you won't be able to beat it most likely. But you'll still be able to get the full story by using these tickets and watch it. Okay? Because this is just the story. This is not the awards. This is just the actual story itself. So when the event's over, I'll probably have cleared 2. I might be into 3, but I'm not going to be able to beat it. I just don't think my team's going to be powerful enough to do that. But so I will come in here and use these and watch it. Okay? And get the story. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I've already read up to the return, so I know I'm halfway through it, and I already know what's happened. So keep that in mind. As you can see, I have finished most of these stories inside of here. I've still got to do Second, and I got to finish up Crocell. So these are the last 2 characters that they introduced. Okay. Now I do complete the actual. I will complete this. I have no trouble completing the Birth of the Dark. I'll be able to complete this. This is just whatever characters you have. This is for your entire bag. You can use whatever characters you want inside of here. So I won't have any trouble beating this. Okay. I'll max this out. But this right here is just for chaos. I've already gotten a lot farther than I normally get. I normally don't get much after the first. I usually get to 2, but I don't get normally past 2-1 or 2-2. Okay, because it's only been order and chaos characters. While I have a fairly decent order team, I don't have a fairly decent chaos team. I'm still lacking a tank. I'm in the process of building up a tank, but once I got the tank, I'll be a lot better. Yeah, so I've already gotten a lot farther. I should probably be able to clear this, I think, because I'm going to be getting more copies of Achlys. I'm going to be putting a full set of armor on her. And I'm going to be putting her in the, she will be going into the actual altar tomorrow. I've got a slot for her all set up inside of the sanctuary. I've got a slot right here, which in 11 hours and 48 minutes will become active. I'll be able to plop her right in there, get her immediately up to level 463. I expect I'll see a little bit more oomph. I get another couple copies of her, rank her up a little bit with a full set of armor. I'm going to start putting stuff onto her. I'll get her a little bit more powerful. I think I'll be able to power through and get a few more levels. That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to 3. If I get to 3, I'll be happy. So that's what I'm looking for. Because I got 20 days, so I've got like 3 weeks to work on this. So it's not like something that you need to rush on immediately. But you definitely want to get in there, get into the game, gather all those sacred summons, purchase those with diamonds as much as you can, and get as many as you can so you can start pulling on her. Okay, so that's all I got. So thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe. Once you subscribe, you'll see the bell. Click on it. You get notified each time I drop a video. Kenrick coming at you in the corner, signing out.